Yeah, good to go.
Okay, fantastic. Here again, this is the Sunday and we are gathered to have the chapter 20, and I'm the one who's going to present the chapter 20. I did good time out to read the chapter 20. I think we all have seen what is exactly happened and what reader wants to put through all their notification or all the learnings till chapter 19. I think we are fine on that one. So let's begin with the chapter 20. Chapter 20 is something about 11 or 12 pages. This is just a background which we all are aware about the entire background. So I'm not going to walk through on it. I'll directly start with the chapter 20. The company has made the great progress on the Phoenix project. The company experienced the CVT1 incident that took out the internal phones and voicemail. This is regarding the EPPX problem, which has been occurred on that day. The incident was caused by a vendor accidentally making changes to the production system. Even we all have seen that there is some kind of a changes which could hamper to the either some or the production or the non-production systems. And this is the even same happened with this chapter and this people also. The team will put together a project to monitor critical systems and unauthorized changes. To be frankly, I'm not able to understand when these people face the problem, they will start the monitoring. So I don't know whether they have the standard monitoring system in the place, because right after proactive, either they are the reactive. This is what I could try to put it. Priorities are typically based on the most senior person making the request or the most recent request. Eric and Bill take another trip to the manufacturing plant, understanding the flow of the work, the first key of achieving the first way. Bill assumed the Brent is worker supporting way too many work centers, which is why he is constrained. Bill is standardizing Brent's work so others can execute it. Documenting the steps helps with the consistency and quality. See, actually, we belongs to the IT, and IT is standing on the very hard quality and the documentation. We all know the importance of the documenting the things. Even I've seen there are many kind of a departments who are not that keen to documenting each and everything. Even I have seen the importance in my past projects, in my past organization, that how documentation is very vital role in any organization. So again, this could be one of the learning to document each and everything. Bill comes to the conclusion that only these projects that don't require Brent are safe to begin. The monitoring project is the most important because it elevates the constraint by removing unnecessary work from this plate by bypassing him. I don't know what exactly these people think, why they feel that, monitoring project give importance to some or the other priority likewise. But I have not seen that these people are giving highest weightage to the monitoring aspect. Even right after that, they face so many challenges. They come to the conclusion that we should have some kind of a productive maintenance, and they started doing that one. Do whatever it takes to assure machine availability by elevating maintenance. See, maintenance is something which we called as a probably the patching or the routine maintenance in our IT subject. Probably it could be the voice, probably it could be the network downtime, which we have to do it on much often ways to upgrade the iOS or to have the patch in line, to see our probably the air condition, which makes more cool in the data center. So these comes with the maintenance activities, which we should have some kind of a standard calendar. Totally release of this work.
Prasad,
Managing the
there's some
see, I think
disturbance.
most of
Sorry to interrupt in between, but I think there's some disturbance. Is it me or everyone is facing that issue? I think it's due to my connectivity.
No, I think for me it is
sound that is coming.
Yeah,
Sarfaraz,
yeah.
That is what you heard.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll mute. There is some work going on, and I thought this mic would condense that. So.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we all have seen that we might have to some point of time, we might have to come to the conclusion that what type of work our peers, our members are doing, and how much these people are occupied. Because every time, if we ask someone, probably in the testing, probably into the patching, probably into the Wintel, or some or the other team member, technical members, if we could try to understand their work load, then everyone says that they are busy. But one actually we see that how many tickets or how many workload these members are having, then probably we get something else, and that probably opening the eyes for the management people. So even there is agile methodology. Why I'm giving this example, while I'm giving more stress on this productivity chapter, because I was the one who has encountered the productivity for the BIU people and the project people. So that helped my management to see how much load these people are having and how much more load they can take on their shoulders to perform the activities. So there is some kind of a calculation I have done in a separate way, which is the agile ways, by understanding how many tickets they have resolved, what are the breaks they are going into the, and what is the criticality of those tickets. So by understanding all 3 to 4 aspects, I have designed the productivity matrix and share it with the management. Absolutely, that works. And when we have shown those to the technical team members, they were agree some point of time. The security project from John don't help the scalability, availability, servability, sustainability, security, supportability, and defensibility for the organization. At present, they are not good use of time. You know, this these words we as IT people keep hearing on and off, but we have not actually acted on it. If you could try to see the scalability, availability, sustainability, these words are the words which we will be able to achieve by having strong processes. Probably what is the waste and how you could try to make use of every individual. This is how it comes. So there is a many ways to smooth your processes. Probably the Six Sigma, where you will have the vestige outline and you will have the good productivity. Probably you will have the agile, probably you will have a streamlined ITL processes. So this says something about the high availability by the supporting of the processes. So this is what my outcome is, which I always write on my last slide. What is the learning based on this particular chapters? So this is my learnings. The standard practice to be implemented across the organization. Standard, why I'm using the standard word, because it could be ITL, it could be Six Sigma, it could be some other standard practice which company can afford to implement it. It does not mean that the same practice will be very transparent or very usable to the other organization. No, standard in the sense that is valuable for them. But of course, the process can be adapted and those can be trained to the people and they can make the standardization of the processes. Second, process owner should be design the process and make sure all departments are adhering to it. So this is the problem where I put more weightage to the adhering to the processes which has been designed by all the organization. We know that if there are 3 to 4 departments, then only a couple of departments they're eager to follow such processes, and rest all a bit reluctant. So we couldn't make that company's goal success. We can only success by having adherence to it and show a bit of respect to those processes. So these are my learnings from chapter 20. If anyone wants to have some more discussion, then absolutely I'll be happy to put my more thoughts into it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Prasad, for that. I think it was, we should all agree that it was very good chapter coverage. Just one thing about this documentation which you mentioned. It's like, as per Agile, we should have minimum documentation, like minimum to zero documentation. So if we're having Agile in our project, so like we don't focus on documentation. Like we have Jiras, we have steps, we don't record steps mostly. So what happens is what I have noticed so far is, if I'm working on something, I know that application, and others are not, no, they're not aware of that. So what we do in our projects is we arrange a demo. Like if I'm working on something in a release, at the end of the release, I schedule a call, like 1 hour call within my team, and I tell them, okay, this is what I'm doing as part of the release, and so that no, everyone on the team is on the same page. We don't do much of documentation, but we kind of share internally. We share using meetings and all.
No, actually, even the way I said it, the practice which you feel absolutely comfortable and easy to adapt by all your team members, I think that's what we call it a standard.
Yep.
Okay. And even I think the way you have given the example of the agile, there is a iteration which you're going to note it. There is a backlog which you will going to keep a note by the name of who's supposed to do what act, and you will might have the stand-ups also. So what has happened yesterday and what I'm going to do.
Yes.
So even I would put it in other way, that this is some point of a documentation which you people are keeping. So I think the fair which you people are following it, I think it's a good idea, or is rather than good practice to do that.
Yeah. Also, like, you cannot cut off documentation completely, because we have to document some steps. Like we use Confluence to add steps, so that, no, because we don't remember, we tend to forget things, and at this crucial times when people are not around, we can go and look, have a look, and we can start, and
Yeah.
will not stop you to do anything.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. So I'm stopping my sharing. Will that be fine with you all?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Anything else from anyone? Maybe I'll start with chapter 21.
Yeah, maybe just to add to what you said, Sarfraz. One thing maybe just specifically that caught my attention. Definitely building a shared understanding is at its core, so that everyone on the team is aware of what's going on and what to do at any given point of time. However, yes, I just heard that maybe sometimes agile might make us feel that manifesto that zero documentation, which I feel is a big myth. So I believe what it talks about is just enough documentation that can keep us going as a team. But no documentation can be a disaster.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Yeah.
So like
And
cannot
especially,
get rid of
yeah,
it. Yes.
Yes, and especially when that documentation comes up. So I think in reference to the chapter 20, I think they are talking about the processes or protocols or guidelines in terms of document. Whereas Agile Manifesto more of talks about a documentation for earlier what we have been doing, business requirement.
Yeah.
So that's where Agile says they're going to go down pretty much on the business requirement. However, when it comes to the standardization of some of the processes or protocols, maybe to have that consistency, it still makes sense to have that just enough document in place.
Yeah.
So just wanted to share that.
Yeah. Thanks, Krish.
No, Girish, you're absolutely right. I think even those are the very right points which you have just raised it.
One thing I would also like to add is that what Agile Manifesto talks about is working software over comprehensive documentation. Now, what they say is your software is the primary measure, or your working product is the primary measure of progress, right? No matter how rosy documents you show and how rosy picture you try to portray, that is not going to be the proof. The ultimate proof is going to be what your software is. So don't spend your time in creating documentations to share with your clients, but instead use that efforts, channelize those efforts in creating working product.
Yep.
Documentation absolutely is necessary wherever you need, and they're not saying documentation is not necessary. They're saying that we value items on the right, but items on the left value more. Right?
Yes.
They are important items on the right. If you look at those, they compare it with the what is on the right and what is on the left. They say that items on the right are important, right? But items on the left have more value over them. So when you try to put a value, then just imagine, and I have been what do you say, a sufferer of that, where in every user story we would create another task for documentation, and that documentation was to demonstrate, because we are not able to demonstrate the user story. So we would create a documentation with mockups and everything, just to show that to people, and nobody would look at those documentations. So and every time we had to go and update those documentations also. So that is an overkill.
Yeah, that's overkill basically, like, because
Yeah.
at end of every release you have to do it, and just for the sake of that 1 or 2 hour of meeting. Otherwise, after that, that is of no use until and unless something breaks in the production, and no, they catch you and they look into documentation, see what you've tested and all. Okay, so I think start with chapter 21. Share my screen. Okay, so yeah, with chapter 21. So chapter 21 basically talks about the audit meeting, which they were like from since chapter 1 we were listening about this audit meeting which going to happen, because they ran into so many issues. And also there was one issue with the finance reporting, where the application went down, and they were going to produce some reports, some like ad hoc invoices, and also they were like afraid of about this SOX 404, which we already saw in the previous chapters, and the auditors. So this chapter mainly talks about the audit meeting. So Bill is onto this meeting, and he has Dick, Eric, and John, and other guys also are part of this meeting. So basically, what they're doing is, so uh, the auditors. So now the same situation which happened. Auditors kind of they overlook the issues, whatever concerns and issues they had, all the issues as part of which the auditors were doing the audit. But due to some reasons, and due to maybe Eric's presence and Eric's involvement, they overlooked that, and they were able to dodge this big audit finding. And so, but this all comes down to the IT security issue, where John, who is the CISO, the chief security officer, so he is not happy that all these auditors who are like they're not doing their job. So he's thinking that all the mistakes, all the issues which happened so far, all the mistakes are the basic hygiene issues, and they should have at least looked into it. But no one cared about that issues, and they were like very easily they got rid of it. And due to Eric's presence, they were not charged, and they were not punished for the issues which came up in the releases. So basically, there also this discussion where to every issue which they had. So John and his team, they are having there's a team of 20 people working on this, and they're trying to convince the auditors that if something even breaks it in the system, then they have a workaround. Like if something breaks, if the data control fails or something fails, so they have a system which later that will get the caught. So basically they're trying to expose that they have a loophole in the system, but also they are telling them that even they have a loophole, and if suppose someone can break into the system, but still they can get that caught in the upcoming or later stages of the process. So to which Bill is not happy, that they are very vulnerable first of all, and they're trying to portray a picture of themselves, like they're agreeing to the auditors that they are a vulnerable system, and someone can break into the system. But still they're trying to explain the auditors that if something even breaks, they can get that fixed easily. So basically, about on this audit meeting, they're going to discuss two weaknesses which the system had. And due to the involvement of Eric and discussions which happened, so what it came down to, like they are not involving IT into these issues. So they'll just, and the auditors they reply back to Dick that these issues which we have, the two vulnerable issues which the system has, those issues are very simple, and then you can fix it without involving the IT team. And they'll get it fixed, and they'll move on with the audit findings, and they will not charge anything to the team. So basically here first was about the audit meeting which happened, where the team, the parts unlimited, they were not the auditors were not able to do anything, and they was like safe. with all the issues. They didn't file anything, and there was no, because when we do auditing, when the external auditors come to do an audit, they usually raise some issues, and then you have to work within that time frame and complete that. And the auditor also, he comes and checks if it's working fine, and also that all that was completely, they were able to dodge that due to Eric's presence. And that was the first part of this chapter. Second was the discussion between John and Bill, where John is trying to explain Bill that he has done so much for the organization, that he was working as a, he was maintaining the servers initially, but then he thought that the security of the organization was like of a major concern to him. That's why he got into this CISO role, and he was trying to protect the organization. And he's also not happy that the team is not supporting him, first of all, because even if he's sending any mail, they're not responding, they're not opening the email, until that he calls them and he asks them to look into the email which he has sent. So the chief security officer is not happy with how the team is performing, and they're not supporting him. And whatever guidelines he's having, they're not following that, and that's why they are running into issues. That is the second point of discussion, where no, John is trying to tell Bill that no, people are not taking him seriously, and he's kind of into a very difficult situation. So that is second part of the of this chapter. Thirdly, so Eric, we have known him since like almost, he's like the board member. He's played so many roles, and he's always there to save the Parts Unlimited company, the organization, from various difficult situations. So here also Eric is kind of having a good bond with the auditors. So they have worked previously, and here Eric is there and he saves them. And Eric is discussing with the auditors. He's trying to settling down things. So Eric now comes back to John, because John is the CISO. He's responsible for the security. So John is telling Eric now at the end of the chapter that how he should look at and how he should work on this on organizing and managing the security related issues the company has. And he thinks of John as just a person who is like kind of badging himself, walking out onto the flow, and trying to nudge with everyone and trying to create more problems. And he's advising John that he should stop doing that, and try to look at a wider aspect. And also he suggests at the end of the chapter, Eric suggests John to go to the MRP 8 plant and go and talk to the safety officer there, and how she's managing all the security related concerns. So that is the end of the chapter, where Eric is telling John to learn some basic about how to manage security. At the end of the chapter, so John is not happy that Eric, instead of telling him, instead of supporting him for the security of the company, he's instead of that, he's Eric is telling him to learn new things and try to get with the how he can work around with the security of the organization. So that is how, which ends the chapter 21st, where John is now in a situation where he's listening from Eric's advice. So, and Bill tells him at the end that like, this is how Eric, even Eric gives him advice, and you can just ignore that, and you can just go home right now and don't think about it much. So the chapter ends where John is not happy, and he is having this 3-ring binder which he carries every time to office with the documents. So he drops that onto the ground, and he's like still so ignorant that he never notices that the file has been dropped to the ground, and all the papers are scattered. So Bill suddenly looks at one of the paper where there's something written on the paper, and he thinks that that might be resignation, but he has a quick sneak peek, and he sees that it's just a small poem. It's a haiku. Haiku is like a Japanese poem with like 7, 5, and 5, 7, and 5 lines. It's 3-line poem with the 7, 5, and 7 kind of words in the each sentence. So there's a poem which is written on the paper, which John has written when he was in the meeting. Like, here I sit, hands tied, room angry. I could save them, but if only they knew. So that is something he's still trying to write his feelings, that I'm here to help the company, but they're not supporting me. And if they only know that, how can I help them, but they're not doing that. So that is how the chapter ends on this poem. So basically, this chapter I just summarized. So it was mainly about the audit, which they were going to, and they were afraid of the audit. But then they're lucky to get rid of the auditors, and there was nothing charged back. Secondly, Eric gives some lessons to John about how to manage security, and go and also advises him to go and talk to the safety officer who is at the MRP 8 plant. And then third, Bill is he was concerned at one point because John was he was in much worry situation, and at the end he is thinking that he might resign, but to surprise, it was like a poem he comes across, and John is trying to help the organization, and but the people are not letting him to do that. That's how this chapter 22nd ends. So chapter 21st, I believe.
Indeed, was good one.
Yeah, any questions?
So they want to control the attrition.
Yes.
Tough task.
Also, one more thing which I came across is like Eric is bluntly telling John that even without you guys, they were able to dodge that auditors. Like he's telling him in simple words that we don't need you to be part of this and don't need to manage. So like he's trying to threaten him that if you don't do your work, then we are like not ready to fire you. And that's one thing.
I think the image of John is someone who is, quite busy doing something, but not doing the productive work. And that is why Eric was more, frustrated with him, that he is showing that he is doing something, but that's not in the right direction, which the organization wants him to be working on.
Yeah, that sums up that correctly. So he's on the wrong track basically.
Okay.
Okay, so I think if you don't have
Yeah.
anything, we can move with chapter 22nd. Stop sharing my screen.
Yes. So I will be off video today because I'm not in videoable format form, I would say. So I would just be keeping it off. Okay, so chapter 22. So when I started reading this chapter, I was confused that why did I miss last Sunday, because I have to read this chapter multiple times just to understand what exactly going on. And or I don't know whether this chapter was that difficult to understand, but yeah. So I would try my level best to describe this chapter and what I have understood from it. So basically, this particular chapter is something. What I see is this team of Bill, Patty, and Wes is now they are in a mode of just implementing the things what they have learned it, and they want to improve the process. And this chapter is all how quickly they have changed the thing around. They have they have implemented these changes. So from the production line, uh, there is a meeting with Eric, and they are going to production manufacturing area and trying to understand how manufacturing work and how they can relate, or how they can implement those things into the IT related work. So I think Bill is also confused, and not Bill, Bill and Wes is having trouble getting understanding it how they can do it. And I'm with them for this also, because I'm also not understanding how they are relating these things with the manufacturing area to the IT one. So yeah, the starting of this chapter is the Eric, the discussion which he had, the Bill had the discussion with Eric related to the plans which they are thinking, right? So there are two major issues they are having at the moment. So one is they have the monitoring projects which they want to release. So due to Phoenix, what they have done is they have freezed a lot of projects, all of the project except the Phoenix release. So the second point is, how they are going to unfreeze all these. So they don't want to be in trouble. So once all these projects are, they can't unfreeze all these projects at once. So they have to prioritize the things. So that's the second challenge with them. So starting of this chapter, Bill had the meeting with Wes and Patty, and he said that the monitoring projects are very important for us because it will be preventing a lot of unplanned work, and importantly, it will keep Brent free. So he highlighted the importance of preventive work, and highlighted that we should start with uh, releasing these monitoring projects. Secondly, after that, they have a meeting again related. Okay, so secondly, they have a following Monday. He had a meeting with Patty, and Patty has done some groundwork. So what they have done is they met in the change coordination room, and what they have what she has done is she has created a new board, and all the index cards she has arranged into 4 categories. One is move work office, and then second category is add, change, delete account, and third category is provisioning of new laptop or desktop, and last one is reset. And each of these categories, what they have labeled with 3 columns. One is ready, doing, and done. So this is some sort of a Kanban board, which she is describing it. And what her plan is to put all the key resources around this particular board, and so that all the work that those key resources would be doing is based on these Kanban board, not they are not going to pick any work based on some mail, instant messages, phone, and whatever. So this should be the base of their work. So this is going to help the team to understand what they are doing, and what their how fast they can do the work. So that's the first project, first sort of change they have implemented. And second, the most important thing she has done is she has taken the list of all the frequent service requests, and documented exactly what the steps are, what the source is, and what resources can execute them, and time how long each operation is going to take. So I think this is what we were discussing about in chapter 20 about the documentation part. So now she has documented the steps for the most frequent service request. So one example of that was the laptop replacement queue. So she has the entire list of requests related to it. What are the steps, how they replacement, or how they issue the new laptop. And meanwhile, while doing this thing, she also have done some sort of steps that she can reduce the time in, and she can improve the efficiency of that process. So she was having some timeline. Bill was skeptical about it, whether they are going to meet or not. But what they have decided is for the next 1 week, they will just monitor whether they would be able to adhere to that timeline, and will able to deliver that particular particular laptops based on those requests, and their category. And yeah, so if they are able to do this, and they are able to tell the users how much time their request is going to take. So Patty was very happy that if they are able to do that, the customer satisfaction would be very good, and they will have understanding how much time their request is going to take. Then after that, they have another meeting related to the second issue that they were facing, right? How to release the unfreeze projects. So what they have done is, again, they have categorized these projects into two categories. One is related to business, and another one is the internal project. So business projects, they have the clear priority. They discussed all these issues with the businesses, and they came up the top 5 projects that they need, and they need to unfreeze once the freeze timelines are over. So for a business projects, they were very sorted. What are the top 5 projects they are going to release, and they're not going to do any work on the other projects. But the second category of projects was the internal projects. So these are the projects where they have to, these are the requests where replacing some infrastructure, and there were some vendor upgrades and supply of the internal business requirement, and there were few related to audit security related work. So when they had a discussion with team leads for the 73 projects, every for all those team leads, every project was very important, and they cannot prioritize it. So it was some sort of a, you can say, they were not able to prioritize all these projects. So what Bill did is he had a discussion on this particular thing with Eric and reminded, what Eric suggested was he have to limit, he have to utilize the brand properly. So what they have done is, based on that, they have categorized, he has asked Patty to, list down all projects where they have the they don't have the dependency on brand, and they have some on those projects where the minimum dependency and other type of projects. So this was the plan to prioritize this project. What they have also observed is, while going through this list, is there were some requests, for example, related to bar database, was going to decommission next year, and still there was an upgrade request for it. So the what Bill thought is, it's it does not make sense to have this thing. So from there they realized that they should link these IT projects with the business requirements, so it would be easy for them to find these dependency. So the next task that Patty took was, to just reorganize these 73 projects with the business requirement and come up with a list. So this was about their meeting. So after 2 days, to Bill's surprised, he received a new laptop, and that too, it was actually planned on the Friday, but he was able to get 2 days earlier. So the list, or the work, documentation work which Patty did, and the timelines which she had, she was able to deliver it, not deliver, but deliver it 2 days earlier. So it was working, and it was working fine. So Bill went, visited Patty, and they had a quick discussion on it. And Patty said that everything, they were able to deliver all those laptop request, replacement request, and new laptop request, and except few configuration errors, or there were some small missing things, everything was working fine. So the chapter ended on a good note for that, they are going into the right direction. So I think that's the chapter 22. I think I want to, from this chapter, I didn't understand on one part is related to, they have something improvement kata. If anyone know this concept and can explain that, I was not able to understand what exactly that is.
I might be not correct here, but I had read about the term kata is coming from Japanese ideology, and Toyota especially embraces this, and they had made famous called as the Toyota Kata. And what they do is in that they try to identify what is that one improvement area, just like Kaizen, I believe, and then they work on it as a team.
You are right, actually.
I remember it reading in one of the books, but I don't know if I'm right. So, but would you like to add more color to that, Prasad?
Actually, even the Kaizen, when it was got introduced, it is just an idea, or it is just a standard meeting which can be just limited to the 15 minutes. Similarly, the Kata is that if I could observe some kind of improvement which I might have to do in some or the other person, then I will try to improve by having some kind of a training probably. So that called is an improvement Kata.
Okay. Okay. One more thing I had also heard about, and I don't know if that is related to this, but in Toyota, whenever there is a problem that is cited on the production line, anybody and everybody has the right to pull the trigger and stop the production line. And that is, I believe, that is the power that is given to the employees or anybody who is seeing that defect, so that it gets escalated to the highest level possible, that there is a problem and we need all hands on deck to fix that. So I don't know what is related to God. I might be missing or I might be confusing two things here. Anybody in the group? Uh, Anybody who has?
Can I add something over here? This is Abdul here.
Yeah, yeah, Abdul.
Yeah. So kata, if you see the word, so it has come from Japanese word, and I agree with Prasada. Okay, it is related to Toyota as well. So kata means deliberate practice.
Correct.
Deliberate practice. So that is the kind of we can say closer the word kata. Okay, and another thing is end on chord, right? Okay, so that chord, what Animesh told, it is absolutely right that okay, it is used in Toyota. Okay, so that is the empowerment for the employees who are working on the ground. If they see any problem on the ground, they can stop the complete production line. They can stop the complete production line. Here there are two concepts are there. Okay, one is the lean concept where they want that okay only uh, there should be one top priority for everyone at a time. That is one thing. Okay, and they want that okay if any in terms of the quality. Okay, the second part is quality. So if anybody is seeing any problem in the quality, they have right to stop the complete production line. And this we have to relate to our day-to-day work, which we are doing the day-to-day production work. Okay, so how many times do we have access to such a line that we can stop the production deployment if we see the problem? Do we have that access? I don't think we have that access, right? Okay, so and on card we want to again relate to our to our IT, and that is that okay there should be a single production line. There should be a single production branching, because we have multiple branches, right? Dev branch, pre-production branch, and production branch. So there are so many branches out there, right? Okay, so we want to kind of stop that branching, we can say. Okay, multiple branching we can. There should be only a single branch at a time, so that if any problem is there, so we can stop the deployment, and everybody is going to concentrate on that one, rather than okay now this is a production problem and I'm from the development. Okay, so this is giving the one team concept as well. One team concept as well. Okay, and nowadays if we see the end on related, so when Toyota from Japan they moved to US, they moved to US, right? So at that point of time, the American cars which were getting produced, that were not of high quality. That were not of high quality. And at that point of time, this end-on cord is heavily used. And can anyone imagine how many times this end-on cord is being used? How many times the end-on cord is being pulled? Can any guess? Can anyone guess? Any guess?
It could
One
be a
time,
higher
two.
side or lower side.
So whatever is, it is higher side. It is higher side. A clue.
No guess. Absolutely.
Still,
Clueless.
there's no chocolate. Okay. For the right answer. And there's no punishment as well.
So the percentage of hundreds.
Still, number. So, Prashad, you are taking a shot, right? So, what is that exact shot? In terms of the percentage of what is that one?
Maybe 90.
I want to extend 5,000 times in a day.
Oh my
Wow.
God. I couldn't imagine. I was just
Yes.
thinking about 100.
Yes. That is, can you imagine? So, socho ke, matlab, let's imagine ke in a production line where the production is getting installed for 5,000 times. Okay. What could be the worst thing? I think Girish has raised the hand. So, because Girish is a master in this one. So, I will stop since he raised the hand. So, Girish, over to you.
No. So not like master. So I think you very well covered it. The way Andon card works as well as maybe how it works. So I just posted in the chat box. So in US, when Toyota was trying to enter that market, Toyota and GM, how that partnership worked, a fantastic case study. I would highly recommend that everyone goes through it. It is a really fantastic case study to show how that cultural change can be brought in. Okay. Now the second thing is just maybe, and I think Abdul covered it well, but maybe just a small correction is that every time Andon guard is pulled, maybe it doesn't result in the stoppage of production line. The main purpose of Andon guard is to highlight the problem. So the moment I see that there is some problem, there is some opportunity, me as a worker on that product line, I pull that chain. So when we say 5,000 times, 5,000 times we are highlighting the existing problems in the system. And Toyota has a maybe recognition system in the place. The moment someone pulls it down, the moment I highlight, I get appreciated. Nothing. Think of the work environment that I, as a developer, I am a defect or I am highlighting an issue, and what we could do with it, right? So maybe that is the only thing that I just wanted to add. Otherwise, yes, as Abdul said, that the powerful tool, and it is a complete 180-degree shift in the way leadership thinks about it when it comes to continuous improvement. But certainly good ads Abdul around the Kata as well as that US case study of and Toyota.
What is that cord called?
Andon cord. So ANDON.
Andon cord.
Andon cord. Yes.
Okay, that's like the chain that we have in the train, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And everything stops.
Yes.
Interesting. I was just doing the maths and I could not believe it 5,000 times because 3,600 seconds you get in an hour and you have 24 hours. So I was just trying to, I mean, it would have been just pulling the cord and pulling the cord and pulling the cord, right? So many mistakes being pointed out, and wow, it must have been a chaos.
Yeah.
So remember, next time if anyone is asking any science, we need to be aware of this gentleman.
And the major difference is maybe the way majority of companies work and Toyota works. So they do not have any concept like a workaround. So generally, maybe people like me, what we will do is that in the interest of meeting the deadline of the delivery, even if there is a defect, maybe I would like to bypass it or maybe try to do a workaround. That is not something Toyota does. So Toyota believes if we a little bit delayed, if something has been found, fixed then and there.
That's a huge culture shift, Girish. I feel I just find myself lucky that I pointed out defects when I was doing code review, and I was fortunate enough I did not get slapped on my face because.
Animesh, you're still there?
So I think I lost.
Yeah, again he is back again.
Yes. So Animesh, for some reason maybe we lost you for a few seconds.
When did you lose me? That getting slapped part or what?
Yes. After that, just immediately after that.
Yeah, people are so passionate about their code and the way they write. So even if you tell them that there could be a different way to do it, or even maybe this is a defect, they get so so angry, right? I mean, that's a huge, like you mentioned, 180-degree shift. Absolutely, I believe that.
So we should call them as a passionate.
I don't know.
It's called confidence.
Maybe over.
Yeah.
Good.
So that I think end of fantastic concept when we say a lot of time hears, right, that quality built in. So built-in quality or quality built-in, we keep hearing that concept. But yes, as Abdul said, so relating it to the software world, maybe CI/CD pipeline as well as just only one pipeline, right? So company like Google, they work on just only one pipeline or just only one branch. Now, what it could take to reach to that level is a tremendous, huge efforts.
Yeah, that's correct. There's so many mistakes in the branching, committing, so many issues.
Absolutely.
A single line, they have to be 100% correct every time.
Yes. So some of the companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, I think they could replicate that Toyota model with the help of CI/CD pipeline and single branching strategy in the software world as well.
Yeah, no wonder why they pay so high to the employees.
Absolutely. So if my check-in fails, the entire company knows about it. And the moment entire company knows about it, maybe I'm not the only one person who is on the spotlight, but my entire team is coming back to the attention. And not only my team is coming to the attention, if anyone observes that a team is struggling to fix it, other teams also start coming together, that how we can help to get that fixed or to get that going on. Otherwise, shayad maybe the normal companies, we might feel that, oh, maybe yes, Girish is the guy. Isne pura tod phod ke rakha hai, right? Take him into the meeting room.
That also speaks about a little bit about the psychological safety, right, Girish?
Absolutely.
That wherein you feel what you said, that the mistakes were appreciated whenever it was pulled, rather than being finger pointed at, right? That rather than penalizing you or putting you on spot, that it was Girish who put that bug into production, or it is Girish's mistake, right? I should feel psychological safe that even if I make mistake, there is somebody who is covering up for me. There is a pair of eyes that is looking over my shoulders maybe. And just together, because together we are committed to deliver the product or to deliver whatever we are committed to our customer, right? It's not just me or you.
Yes.
So
That's true.
beautiful point, Girish. Thanks for sharing.
No problem, man. Thank you, Abdul, for maybe bringing those points up. I think those are pretty relevant, and thanks for sharing.
Deliberate practice. I will never forget that. Thank you, Abdul.
Abdul sir, whenever he comes, he just comes in. He just look at it. He just say a few words and he win it.
Yeah. A man of few
that's
words.
True.
He's the match winner. I think Mustaq, over to you.
Yeah. So let's start with the chapter 23rd. Thanks, Shoaib, for bringing this point. And I think chapter 23rd is, it's already Prasad is covered, and I think in another chapter also we have covered. So it's very small chapter. So let's begin. So it's like Tuesday morning, and we'll come to know about one incident which they got, and they will come to know that Brent is late on delivering another Phoenix task. So once again they are in a situation, or at a point where they need to meet in a conference room. So Patty, Bills, and his team is meeting in a conference room, and during this discussion they found that why don't we create any virtual server which we can install the OS and a couple of packages on it. So before deploying any fixes or any code to the higher environment, we can just have a sanity testing or just UAT testing kind of. So why don't we create a virtual server? So if you create the virtual server, then Petty point out few points, like Brent task is turn out to be a considerably what we can say, more than just a task. And second point, it's like we are finding the multiple tasks spanning multiple people. So each of whom have their own urgent work to do those So, we are losing days at each handoff, because if you are any person, let us assume one person is doing any task and any sudden fix came up. So if these guys will again occupied in a new work, then it will again, get delayed in a work or delivery. So at this rate, without some, dramatic intervention, it will be weeks before, QA gets what they need, or what we need to deliver in a production environment. So during this discussion, Bill got frustrated, and he was just thinking about what we can do to avoid this situation. So Bill have present one good chart. Let me bring this one. Yeah. So he just draw one chart after many erase and right, and he came up with this chart in which his axis is it's you mentioned that resource busy, and y-axis he mentioned about the wait time. So it's like let us assume if any person is 50% busy, so that means that that person is available, 50% is idle. So if you will divide 50 by 50, then it will be equal to 1 hour. So on an average, work will wait for 1 hour in queue before it's get work, or before it gets started to get work upon, or any fix is getting to started work upon. So let us assume if any person is 90% is busy, and that means that that person is available for 10%. So that means if you divide by 90 by 10, then it will be equal to 9 hours. So let us assume if Phoenix is occupying with 7 resources, and if you will do the some calculation, then 9 into 7, that it will become it around 963 hours just in a queue. That means that work is not yet started, just work is waiting for it will be wait till 3 hours before it gets started, and we don't know when it's going to fix it. It depends on the work criticality and work types. So during this discussion, Bill, Petty, and Christian came to know that we need to correct this one, because uh, correct this on Christian's schedule and her work breakdown structure on WBS work breakdown structure. So based on this, what I have seen, that fully 1/3 of our commitments to Christian falls into this category. So like, our work is getting postponed because of this too much long work is pending in a queue. So just a great West says that, and it's like Gilligan's Island, which we it's like we keep sending people out there for 3 hours, and months later we wonder that why the people didn't come back. So it's like it's like of image or mystery kind of, that we are sending people for just doing 3 hours work, or and after 1 hour 1 month we realize that people didn't come, or people didn't completed this task still yet. So during this discussion, PAT says that I wonder if we could create a Kanban lane for each of these tasks. So Bill says that yes, that's absolutely right, and Eric was right in his statement, like manufacturing process, which he mentioned, like from one place work is raw material is putting in place, and at the end output is getting out. So you have just found a big pile of recurring tasks. So if you can document and standardize this recurring work and gain some mastery over it, so it's just like you did with the laptop. So just in previously chapter, we have seen that Eric got a laptop before scheduled delivery time. So if we will apply this kind of concept over here also, then they are sure that we can improve the flows. So during this discussion, Patty proposed the new role. It's like combination of project manager and expeditor. Like expeditor is something who will work as a helper, or kind of it's not helper, who is work as a supervisor, who would supervise all this all the project management works. So instead of day by day oversight, they would provide minute by minute control. And she says that if we need fast and effective handoffs of any completed work to the next work center, and if required, this person will wait at the work center, and until this work is not completed, we are not going to carry new work. So it's not about the physical task here we are talking about. It's like until we are not delivering any new defect or new issue, we are not going to take another new task. So we will never let critical work get lost in a pile of tickets again. So this is during this whole discussion. I think my understanding is, or maybe it says that, if you can document or standardize the process, it's standardizing process we pretty much follow in, I mean, as I belongs to the business process management tool technology. So we pretty much doing the same things like in our tool, which we are doing, we are standardizing the process, which will, remove unnecessary manual tasks, automate certain tasks, and document if whenever required. So this chapter is all about utilization of resources, I think. So that's it. Any points if I miss and cover?
No, I guess.
I think you covered it well. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Also, thanks for adhering to the something which we discussed in last session of documenting the stuff while we present. So you did it. Like I was feeling I couldn't do it, but maybe next time forward I'll start doing that. So
I think we are on time. I think we are on time.
Yeah.
Today. So we have finally completed 4 chapters.